Hi, Brian McElroy here. Now, today I would like to talk a little bit about what we might call emotional eating, or unhealthy eating patterns, and I would like to share a little bit about what has helped me personally with regard to my own journey with unhealthy eating patterns. So, basically, after I completed my medical training, I done something called an internship. The internship in Ireland means that you generally work 60 to 100 hours a week, and for me it was my first time working, I guess, a full-time job, and certainly working a job of this intensity. Now, up until that point, I would have, generally speaking, considered myself to have had good mental health, and certainly I would have never have thought I would have had unhealthy eating patterns. So during the course of that year, I developed what, on retrospect, I would probably consider an eating disorder, or at least a disordered pattern of eating. So after I completed some maybe 36-hour shift, or even a difficult day shift, and after I would have eaten my 3 meals, often at 11:30 or midnight, I would have eaten perhaps 3 times the portions of food that would have equated to 3 meals, and this was in a very rushed, uneasy pattern, and the foods would have been completely mixed. So I could have been eating sausages one minute, followed by a sweet dessert the next moment, followed by a bowl of cereal the next moment. So there was no pattern. There was literally nothing healthy about the way I was eating, and internally, my mind was rushing. The thoughts I were having were quite distressful, and inevitably, once the feeling of not being able to eat anymore came over me at a bodily level, I would inevitably stop and feel absolutely wretched, and would often have to stay upright for 2 hours before falling asleep, and then often waking up with intense nausea or a feeling of almost vomiting. Needless to say, the following day I would feel quite rubbish, feeling quite tired, and there was not complete secrecy, but there was an element of secrecy to this eating habit. And a lot, on retrospect again, I can now say a lot of this was down to an internal feeling of being completely out of control and being completely overwhelmed in my own life. So this continued probably for the last 6 months of my intern year, and for the last 6 years or so, thankfully I've enjoyed much healthier eating patterns. And although I would have occasionally overindulged or have had a similar episode, the episodes pretty much became much less frequent, and thankfully I'm now at a point where they don't really occur, and I feel my relationship with food is quite a wholesome, enjoyable one. So I guess I'm making this video because I would like to share some of what for me were the key insights in helping me to heal this relationship with food. And my hope would be that some of this may be helpful to perhaps some of you watching. So, and I think it's important to be, I feel it's important for me to be honest with myself, and a lot of people may have the preconception that doctors have it all together, or that doctors shouldn't develop eating disorders because they know enough about these things. So in the next video I'm going to go into detail about the insights I had regarding how I recovered, or how I'm in a better place at the moment.